Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel made in Manchester. This is your 10-minute transfer news show on the topics on the table today, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about Christopher Nkunku and there's links with Marcus Rashford involved in that deal. Obviously not going the other way, but in general, if Rashford does leave, Nkunku is definitely a possibility. Speaking of Marcus Rashford, how much time has he actually got left to make a move? You know, Dortmund don't look like they can afford the package. Milan have gone and got Kyle Walker, so they're out of the race. Barca are stretching everything. I mean, they're having weddings at the new camp to kind of fund their transfer, so God knows what's going to happen with that. I want to talk about Rasmus Højlund's performance specifically, and a last-minute dash for Patrick Dorgu back on the table today. So let's start off with Christopher Nkunku, people. The news coming in, and this from Laurie Whitwell as well, a very, very good, one of my favourite journalists, I will say, right up there. And he's saying that Marcus Rashford leaving would invite an arrival, and United are weighing up the prospect of going for Christopher Nkunku, who might be available on loan from Chelsea. Now, I've seen some of the people in this space, your Mark Goldbridges and a couple of others, moaning about this deal, saying Ineos are going to send us to the Championship and all this kind of stuff. I'm not being funny, but if we do send Marcus Rashford out on loan and he does go to somewhere who's not being used in the squad anyway, let's not forget that. If he does go to somewhere, you obviously have to replace him with an attacking player. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, you look around Europe at the moment, there ain't many better options than Christopher Nkunku that you can take on loan for 6 months. I can absolutely, categorically guarantee you that, because Christopher Nkunku, especially in Amorim's system, would fit like a glove, in my opinion. If you look at his time at Leipzig, his numbers that he put in there as well was absolutely outrageous, and people might come up with a Timo Werner argument, different kind of players. Nkunku would fit this system as one of those inside 10s. He can even play as a 9 if we need him there, which we probably will, because our attackers have been crap. Our strikers have been crap, should I say. So why not do this? Why not? If you're going to get Rashford's wages off the bill, it's 375 grand a week, Nkunku's on 195 at Chelsea. That is a valid spot that you can fill there, and he would significantly contribute to our team. And think about, I don't know if you can actually play Europa League or not. That's the only one where it might be like, okay, maybe I'll understand that point of view, but you can't tell me you still won't have an impact in the FA Cup and the Premier League. He's a top level player, and this is someone who Rangnick ironed out as well, don't forget. I thought the quotes on Marcus Rashford last night were extremely damning. Rúben Amorim saying, I would put Vital, who's a 60-year-old goalkeeping coach, on the bench before a player who doesn't give the maximum. And he's been asked multiple times, what is it that Rashford's not doing? What do you not like? Training, application, their everyday life. Does not like it, does not fit into his philosophy, what he wants in players. So he's set aside, and the club are absolutely fine with that. And that's the first time that's happened in years. So I'm happy to continue if he wants to do that. But in an ideal world, let Marcus go play somewhere, bring in someone like Nkunku's calibre. I promise you he'll have an impact on the season and probably finish as one of the top goal contributors. Because I've watched him he might be the Conference League, but there is a player there. I'm telling you, might be going against the minority, but there is. Whilst we're on the attacking options, let's talk about Rasmus Højlund. The Athletic reported something before that Rasmus Højlund has failed to register a shot in 7 of the 13 games he started in the Premier League this season. Amorim spoke about Højlund after the game as well. He says he works really hard, and you can see sometimes without training there is a disconnection. We can explain, but without training, sometimes he goes away when he should be near. Sometimes he goes near when he should make a run. So talking about his off-the-ball ability, timing at times. People are saying he's not getting service. I absolutely understand that. It is a little bit of a graveyard shift. Not a little bit. It is. I get that. We should be supplying him more. We should be looking for him more. Sometimes he does make runs that we don't pick out. All of that I absolutely agree with, right? But this is where it fails. He fails to deceive for me. When we are playing football and we are struggling to get out of the press a little bit, and sometimes we'll go long, sometimes we'll drill it into his feet. I promise you, go and watch the game last night, and you will see about, I would probably say nearly double figures, 8 or 9 times minimum, he gets the ball played into him, and his first touch is completely off. So the whole attack completely breaks down then. And then what happens is the attackers around you start to lose confidence in your ability. They start to not think you're going to get it. So that, do you know what I mean? Like, it has effect on the whole team. You're there as the pin man. Whether you don't like doing that or not, maybe you like running into channels, I understand it, but that's your role in this team. You have to adapt. I get he's young, I get he's raw, but that's why he shouldn't be starting for United. That's exactly why. That's why we need an experienced striker, Gyökeres, Osman, someone like that, please, for the love of God, and then develop Rasmus Højlund alongside him, because Xerxes and Højlund are just not good enough. And Lisandro Martinez got asked about them both yesterday. He said, we take the responsibility, and I think we played many long balls to them, and for them it's really tough. They fight against two centre-backs, and the centre-backs here in the Premier League are really difficult to win something, but they have to do better as well. They are really good players, but we have to contribute more and put them in better space or a place on the pitch. We have to find them in the right places and dangerous places to make them score. So, look, there is two sides to the argument. I get that, 100%. But you can't tell me the fundamentals in football, if you are a striker for Manchester United, your first touch, holding it up, bringing others into play. That's got fuck all to do with chance creation. So I'm not buying that it's just because of that. That's nonsense. Anyway, we'll dive into the transfer market because we've got some news around Patrick Dorgu. Fabrizio Romano reporting that Manchester United is set to approach Lecce again this week. This will be the third time. Add-ons will be key for the final proposal to get closer to Lecce's £34 million valuation. I think we've discussed this before as a community anyway, but I think the majority of people, it's a little bit overpriced. It is. But what United have done is they've gone in there. They know we're desperate. Lecce are desperate to stay up. They're in a relegation battle, so they don't want to lose the best players. They're probably looking at it as, you know, from a bird's eye view, thinking if we let this guy go, that could mean relegation for us, and how much is that going to cost us effectively? So if we're going to let him go, we're going to have to sweeten the deal. And if I was a fan of Lecce, I would agree with that. So I've got no qualms with them pushing that. It's how United handle it. He's obviously Rúben Amorim's number one target there. He fits the profile that he wants. Players covering space, athletic, strong. Also versatile as well. Could play as a right wing back, left wing back. I'm pretty sure he's played as a winger. He's very good in attacking areas. He's capable on the ball. How he will adapt to the Premier League, we won't know until he comes. I certainly don't think he's going to come in and have a straight effects like that and be one of the best left backs in the league. He's another one who's going to need development and time, which we haven't really got at the moment. But if he sees him as a player and he can develop into, you know, a Nuno Mendes, let's say, like he did at Sporting Lisbon, obviously Amorim's got a great track record of developing players, then I'm happy with that. But just get the deal done. We're on the 27th of January as I speak right now. I think the window closes in a week today. You've not got much time left. And you're trying to potentially do an Nkunku deal, a Rashford deal, a Patrick Dorgu deal, and maybe a couple of loans on top of that as well. You're not giving yourself much time, are you? So the likelihood is, based on previous transfer windows, that ain't going to happen. So let us know your thoughts on Patrick Dorgu if you think that deal will go through. We also had news coming in from Sky Italia before that Napoli are set to make new contacts with United for Alejandro Garnacho in the next few hours. The two clubs had promised to return to the table some days ago. Obviously, Chelsea's still in the mix as well. They were set to table a £60 million bid. What's happened to that? I have absolutely no fucking idea. I don't know what's gone on. Maybe they're still kind of umming and ahhing and think about it. I don't know. Garnacho at the moment is probably one of our best attackers and one of our most consistent ones, right? He may not suit the system, but again, if you get rid of him, so you send Anthony out on loan, you're probably going to send Rashford out on loan, and then you're going to sell Garnacho. That's three attackers, and we've yet to even bring one in, and we've been linked with one. You are going to be extremely light up top. So they better have a replacement in mind to bring him in if they're going to do that. You don't just sell Garnacho and say, oh, well, you know, we need to balance the books. Right, okay, we'll just go into the rest of the season 6 months, a very tough period, with maybe the potential of winning the Europa League with fucking 4 attackers or whatever it is. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, I'm really interested to see what happens with that Garnacho deal. Genuinely, I have no idea what to expect, but this is why we're here. This is why we'll be live as soon as any kind of news breaks, so make sure you turn on the notification bell. Just a few other little tidbits in regards to transfers for the last minute of the show. United still hope to send Harry Amas and Dan Gore out on loan before deadline day. Obviously, Amas was linked with the likes of Leicester, and there was a couple of other clubs interested, but the statement that came out from United, and I think Steve Railston reported on this as well, they want to make sure they're the right clubs for these players to go to so they get the right development. A loan spell for a young player could have so much effect on his career. Look at Amad Diallo, who's shining for us at the minute. Went off to Rangers, did not work. People saying, no, he's not really a player, Went to Sunderland under Tony Mowbray, was unbelievable. And then the rest is history, you know? So it's got to be the right club for both of these players. You can't just send them willy-nilly. Yeah, let's send them to fucking Cambridge. I don't even know where they are. Don't know what league they're in. It's got to be proper, right? So happy with that with those two. And apparently as well, Galatasaray and Fenerbahce tried putting the hat in the race for Marcus Rashford. But Marcus Rashford just wants a top-level club like a Barcelona, so that ain't going to happen. And also the finances involved would be difficult. So, yeah, that has been your 10-minute transfer news show. Get all your comments in, smash a like in the video, subscribe to the channel, and thank you very much for watching, people. Legends.